Hey everybody. This is Plan Your Greatness and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. And let's get started today. Today we are back on the book. We are on volume 13, chapter 7. Let me see. And this is why this book is getting edited. But you see down there at the bottom, chapter 7 says, Chasing Bobby Smith. So again, you can get that book along with the other ones, the Fair Exchange, Conversation with an Uber Driver. You can get the original version of the Plan Your Greatness. This is How to Plan Your Greatness. You can get all of those on Amazon. The links will be in the bottom. But let's get started. We are talking about chapter 7. We are going through the book. We have gone through, like I said, this is volume 13. So we have done 13 videos on the book. So there was 13 sections. So we're at chapter 7. So there were some other sections we broke down. But now we're getting to a part of the book. And I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible because there is a lot of information in this particular chapter because it covers a lot of things. But more specifically, the reason why the title is called Chasing Bobby Smith, because it has to do with a very important, pivotal time in my life. This was when I was in the 3rd grade. Now, let's go back a little bit, okay? This chapter starts out, it's telling you a story. It's telling you that in the 3rd grade, I am terrorizing this little kid. His name is Robert Smith, Bobby Smith. I am terrorizing this kid to the point where I find out, or I knew that he had asthma. I probably didn't know what the word asthma meant, but I knew that if I ran around and chased him enough, he would run out of breath. And me, my little 3rd grade self, I was like, come on, man, what you doing? You can't keep up. So I was just teasing this kid. And so this particular day, I teased him and chased him up on the top of this little hill. Now, what's funny is I went back to that elementary school playground and I looked at that little hill and it was nothing. They had this little track that was around this little hill, but that hill was nothing. But as a kid, it seemed like it was much bigger. But I had chased him to the top of that hill, and here's little old me balling up my little fist, and I wasn't gonna hit him, but I was just picking on him. I was bullying him. And I remember raising my fist up like, I'm gonna hit you. And he passed out. Literally just, whew. So as I think back to that moment, a couple of things came into play. One, he was probably wore out from me chasing him. Number 2, his asthma was kicking in. And number 3, he's probably scared to death. So I raise my fist and I see him just kind of flop and he's just lifeless. And I look at him and I just go, pew! I take off running into the school. Before recess was over, I run in the school, run up the stairs, because this was a 2-story school. I run up the stairs, and get into the classroom ahead of everyone else. Because usually they call recess is over, they have us kind of get in a little line, check in, and the teacher's checking to see if everybody's in. And so we all pile into the classroom. So now the teacher is taking a head count. She's looking, and she's like, okay, where's Bobby? Oh, he must be still out on the playground. So I see her walk out of the classroom, and I'm sitting here like, bucking my eyes like, ooh, what's going on? And she looks out, because you could look out from our class, from the hallway, you could look out through this window, and there's a glass door that we have to go through to get to the stairwell. And then there's another glass door that you can see from the 2nd level out onto the playground. And just so happened where you can look directly on the top of that hill. And I heard this teacher go, ah! She screamed. I knew what she saw. She saw this kid on the hill looking like he was dead. And I don't remember if she ran out there or whoever went out there with her, but she brings him back in, and I'm just sitting there just trying to mind my own business, like, yeah, ain't nothing going on. And all of a sudden, she's like, Carl, my name is Carlton, but nobody called me Carl until I made it a point to have people call me Carlton after my baseball career. But everybody, even on my paperwork, when they would, do a roll call going down the list, every new class, and they would say Carlton, I would go, Carl, just call me Carl. And now I don't even like hearing Carl, but that's what my people from my neighborhood and my family call me. They all call me Carl. So when they hear people, they see people call me Carlton, I look at my family and they go, Carlton, they call you Carlton. I go, yeah, they do. I said, I intentionally wanted to make a separation from my neighborhood and from my career playing baseball. It was time that I needed to move on mentally. So I just said, hey, everybody's going to call me Carlton from that point on. But Carl. So I get called up to the principal's office and I get suspended. I can't remember exactly, was I suspended just for that day or how many days it was. But what I will say is, under normal circumstances, if anybody in our family got suspended, that information went from my mom to my dad, and you got a whooping. But that particular time, my mom, in her infinite wisdom, she didn't tell my dad. So that information never got to him. And I can't remember how many days it took, but there was this meeting, a meeting of the minds between my mother, the teacher, I want to say the assistant principal, the principal, Bobby's mom. Because Bobby and I were there at the school whenever this meeting took place. We were sitting out in the hall.